Wisconsin vs. Miami. Sizing up the Capital One Orange Bowl between Wisconsin, 12-1, and Miami, 10-2. Time, TV, December 30th, 8 p.m. ET, ESPN. Site, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Gardens, Florida. With one more defensive stop or one final scoring drive, Wisconsin would be in a national semifinal, likely the Sugar Bowl, and not the Orange Bowl. Miami, Florida, never had a chance against Clemson in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game, a 38-3 loss, but the same idea applies. The Hurricanes were one win away from a national semifinal. To basically get thoroughly whipped was a tough pill to swallow for everybody, said Miami coach Mark Richt. It's a long way down from the heights of playing for a national title. While each program's exclusion from the top four wasn't controversial, the controversy was saved for Alabama and Ohio State. The Orange Bowl will test how well the two teams rebound and prepare for a high-profile postseason matchup. Wisconsin's regular season ended with a 27-21 loss to Ohio State, one that cost the Badgers the Big Ten title and revealed their offense to be too one-dimensional against the Buckeyes' athletic and aggressive defense. Quarterback Alex Hornibrook threw 2 interceptions while completing fewer than half of his attempts for the second time in 3 games, but that was only half the story. Wisconsin accounted for a season-low 60 rushing yards on 32 carries. Miami's turnover-happy defense could present a tough test for Hornibrook and the Badgers' passing game. The Hurricanes ended the regular season with more interceptions, 17, than touchdowns allowed, 15, even as the defense scuffled in defending the pass during its final 3 games. The matchup between Hornibrook and the Hurricanes secondary will be one of the Orange Bowl's deciding factors. Bowl schedule. The complete postseason lineup for 2017-18 staff picks. USA Today sports experts predict the winners for every bowl. I think it goes back to being in the moment, Wisconsin coach Paul Chryst said. I know this group will be ready for it. But nothing will dictate the result more than how capably Miami can handle Wisconsin running back Jonathan Taylor, a Doak Walker Award finalist as the nation's top back after gaining 1,847 years and scoring 13 touchdowns as a freshman. When Taylor gets rolling, the Badgers are a handful for defenses. He opens things up for Hornibrook and loosens up defenses. Meanwhile, Miami's offense is struggling. Largely due to injuries, but also a result of defenses gaining more tape on quarterback Malik Rozier. The Hurricanes' passing game sputtered in losses to Pittsburgh and Clemson to end the regular season. Much like those two opponents, Wisconsin has that rare ability to put pressure on the quarterback, control the line of scrimmage and force quarterbacks into mistakes. The teams are 2 of the nation's best at defending the pass. The Badgers head into the postseason allowing quarterbacks to complete fewer than half of their attempts, and the defense as a whole is one of just 10 in the Football Bowl subdivision to allow fewer than 11 touchdowns through the air. It will be hard to get Wisconsin out of its comfort zone, but Miami must attempt to wobble the Badgers on both sides of the ball, particularly against the Badgers' defense. While Miami may have the edge in overall talent, the Badgers' plodding and methodical style of play can offset the Hurricanes' edge in athleticism. When Wisconsin runs, Wisconsin will have a distinct edge against Miami's defense, which gave up 4 rushing touchdowns in the loss to Clemson and allowed 6 opponents in conference play to gain at least 150 yards on the ground. Edge, Wisconsin. When Wisconsin passes, on the other hand, Alex Hornibrook's lapses in ball security and the Hurricanes' ability to force mistakes aren't good for Wisconsin, which cannot afford to play loose with the football and negate its clear edge along the line of scrimmage. Edge, Miami. When Miami runs, far too inconsistent for comfort since the start of Atlantic Coast Conference play, Miami's running game officially bottomed out in the losses to Pittsburgh and Clemson. Meanwhile, Wisconsin's letdown against Ohio State stands as the exception to the rule during a regular season when the Badgers' run defense ranked among the nation's best. Edge, Wisconsin. When Miami passes, much will be made of Hornibrook's bouts with turnovers, but don't ignore Malik Rozier's own issues at the controls of the Miami offense. He tossed 11 interceptions during the regular season, 7 coming in the last 5 games, and will be tested by a defense that forced opposing quarterbacks to complete just 49.1% of their attempts with 17 interceptions. Edge: Wisconsin special teams. Miami has the edge in the return game, particularly on punts, but the Hurricanes' sloppy work on kickoff coverage is a concern. It's a draw in the kicking game, with both teams average at best on punts but reliable on field goals. With the competition this tight, the Badgers get the edge thanks to kicker Rafael Gaglianone's reliability on field goal attempts beyond 40 yards. Edge: Wisconsin coaching. Wisconsin's Paul Chryst has successfully installed his vision for the program, which is further along in the process than Miami is under Richt. Edge: Wisconsin by forcing Miami to play at its tempo. Miami by forcing the Badgers into making turnovers and taking advantage of short fields. Of those two scenarios, the former seems the more likely. It won't be a blowout in either direction, but Wisconsin seems built to pull away in the second half. Pick: Wisconsin, 21-13.